Welcome to Milwaukee Brewers Spring Training here in Phoenix, Arizona. Jeff Hem here with you. Pleased to be joined by Matt Arnold, the President of Baseball Operations and General Manager for the Sounds Parent Club Brewers. And Matt, this has been a fun kind of annual tradition for us to have the opportunity to sit down with you and talk about the upcoming season for both the Brewers and the Sounds and how those are always kind of married together. From an aerial view, how has the spring gone so far for the Brewers?
Doing really well, knock on wood, mostly healthy. Obviously made a number of transactions over the offseason, but getting to know the young guys has been a lot of fun. Yeah, we've gotten to know some of these guys early on and really exciting. And again, just building off of what we did last year, winning 97 games, getting to the NLCS. Excited to get back after it again this year.
We've talked about it in years past. You guys are so well known for the player development and for these guys coming up from Nashville and performing well. What's it been like to watch, whether it was Jacob Mizorowski last year or now it's been a few years of Bryce Terang being a big leaguer and Sal Frelick and these core Brewers who've come up through your organization and they're blossoming now?
Yeah, it's certainly fortunate to have incredible partnership with the Nashville Sounds and everybody there, and excited to get after it again. Like we were talking about, it's that pipeline that keeps us alive in Milwaukee, honestly. And we can't do it without the partnership with the Nashville Sounds. And very thankful for the support and the partnership there. And again, when the guys show up, they're ready to be big leaguers, And again, there's always more development that goes beyond that. But it starts with Rick Sweet in Nashville, closing in on the all-time wins record, which is really exciting, and getting him ready for Milwaukee, and he's done a great job for years with us.
At the top of baseball operations for the Brewers, what does depth look like to you, where you can truly feel like, because you guys have had it the last few years, I mean, you look at the volume of guys that go up and do well in whatever role they're asked to do. How do you guys create that where on a relative level you can feel somewhat comfortable?
Yeah, I don't know if you're ever totally comfortable, because you look up and it's August and you're like, man, where do we turn? I think that just is part of the season. But I will say that work starts in the off season with our staff, our coaches, our scouts, just trying to find the right guys, and then once you're in the season, even when you don't feel like you have an option there, there's usually somebody you can go to and say, hey, this guy's going to take the ball and do the right thing for us, and they're ready. Honestly, the guys there, starting with Rick Sweet, have just done a phenomenal job getting everybody ready to go. So, we cannot survive. We had 17 starting pitchers last year pitch for us, and all those guys, vast majority of those guys were in Nashville at some point, right? So, getting contributions from all directions is what the Brewers need to do to survive and thrive.
One thing that becomes clearer every year, it feels like, is the AAA team, the Sounds, mirroring the Brewers in style of play. I mean, last year the Sounds just shattered their team's stolen base record. How critical is that so that when guys do come up, they're literally not expected to do much differently than what they had been doing?
It's great. I think one of the big things that you want to have that type of culture, you're not just learning that on the fly at the major league level. It's something that starts in the minor leagues, not even before guys get to Nashville, just how to play the game, the standards. And in fact, Murph is meeting with some of our young prospects tomorrow, actually, to visit with him and also some of our former big leaguers on staff, and just talking to them about what it means to be a big leaguer. But hearing that from them now is such a great message from Pat Murphy and those former big leaguers on our staff to really just get them ready. And so when they go back to their affiliate, whatever that is this year, they're going to play that style of baseball, which is what we need.
We know that things are in pencil, not pen, as we sit here in the middle of March. But how would you describe what you imagine to be in Nashville, whether it's some of the young guys who finished at AA last year, or it's a tough roster to crack in Milwaukee.
Sure.
So there are going to be some Sounds, at least at the beginning, you would think, that are back in Nashville and not yet with the Brewers. We talk about depth. Like, it feels like you guys are in as good a spot as you've been in the last few years, and that's really saying something.
Yeah, it's nice, to have that kind of depth. And again, like you said, there's going to be a lot of pencil right now. We know it's still March and plenty of time to make adjustments. But the nice thing is, we feel like the major league team is going to be very competitive, and we feel like those guys are gonna put up a fight every night. And then we have the depth behind that in a way where you don't necessarily have to force that. You don't have to rush it. If there are young players, a Cooper Pratt, a Jet Williams, those types of guys, Brock Wilkin, et cetera, they're going to impact our team at some point, but because they're going to be ready to go, you don't have to necessarily force that immediately. We just know that's going to happen at some point across the course of the season, but just doesn't have to happen on opening day.
And then the other area we've talked about the last few years is how the Brewers find players from outside the organization. Every year there are at least 4 or 5 guys who had been minor league free agent signs or waiver claims who become big contributors for you. How key is that part of your roster building?
Yeah, it's totally essential. You can point to a number of guys that we've had involved for years, honestly, and that part of it is scouting and development, and then also it's the pro side where we're trying to acquire these types of guys that fit our brand of baseball that can help us in Milwaukee, and even if it's for one start or the rest of the season, there are guys that have really stepped up. Whether it's Jared Koenig or Tobias Myers or just going down the list. I mean, a lot of guys that have come into our organization have really thrived, and again, it's a credit to the environment that the Nashville Sounds create.
As we build to opening day, what excites you the most about the upcoming season if you sort of combine the Brewers and Sounds from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, opening day anywhere is a ton of fun. It's just, you start to get a sense of it right now just with being a part of spring training, and I think that's something that's really exciting. But, it's baseball season, and that's what gets us all going. And so, opening day, no matter what, as part of the Milwaukee Brewers family is something we're really excited about.
All right. We appreciate your time as always, and here's to a great season in Milwaukee and Nashville.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right, Matt Arnold, President of Baseball Operations and GM for the Sounds Parent Club Brewers here in Phoenix, Arizona at Brewers Spring Training.